Okay, so we're following up on our prior video where we discussed the difference between Class C of Google and Class A of Google. So we have GOOG and we have Google. One has an L at the end, and that's Class A, and one does not have an L, and that's Class C. And we explained the difference on a prior video that Class A has voting rights to it, while Class C does not have any voting rights. And in every other way, it is identical, and you basically own a share of the company just without the voting rights. And we asked the question at the time when I posted my recent video that why would it be that Class C, no voting rights, should trade at a premium to Class A that does have voting rights? And I showed on that video that actually, if you search it on Google, you're actually going to find an answer that is not correct. And on Google, it actually says that Class A, the voting rights, trades at the premium. That's completely not correct. And you could see it's factually not the case. Class A is actually trading at a discount. You could see that right over here. Right now, as we are in Markets Are Live, it's trading at 164.83 versus Class C, GOOG, which is 166.40. So there's a discount there of $1.50 roughly. So that's a big difference there. And it was interesting, I also showed on the previous video that if you were to ask the same question to ChatGPT, they're also going to get it incorrect. And that is really interesting that they aren't verifying their details, and they're saying that Class A trades at a premium to Class C because it has voting rights, and it's just not the case. Class A is trading at a discount, as we see right here. So here is the real answer. I'm going to share with you, this is the 10K, this is the annual forms that Alphabet, Google files, and we could look at this over the 4 years from 2021 to 2022, 2023, and 2024. And what we see over here is that Class A and Class C have been part of their repurchase program that they have been running on an annual basis, continuously buying back and retiring lots of their shares. So what we could see over here is that in total in 2021, they have bought back and retired 407 shares. This is in millions, so it's 407 million. Now, just so in case you're familiar, there was a stock split of 20-for-1, and that is accounted for, and they've basically equaled it out, so you don't have to worry. That has already been calculated into this, and everything over here is based on that 20-for-1 stock split, as it actually mentions it right above over here. And by the way, this is this is note 11 in the notes of the 10K, so you can look it up for yourself. So what we see over here is that 2021, they had a 407 million stock purchase buyback. And that amounted for just over 50 billion, which is a lot of money. They purchased a lot of their shares back. Now, in 2022, they purchased back 530 million shares, which is about $59 billion. And I'm going to show you the subsequent 2 years in a minute. But before we go back to another screen, to another chart, which is going to show 2023 and 2024, I just want to highlight something very interesting over here. Class A repurchases was 24 million, while Class C was 383 million. The difference here is tremendous. If you just do the math on this, we're talking about 16 times the amount. So Class C was repurchased 16 times more than Class A. Now that right away should tell you something. There's something over here that will affect the price of the stock, because we know that stock repurchases affect the price. It's just the fact is that as the company is bidding and they're buying back their own shares, it's going to support the price of the stock. And even if the other Class A is also going to get picked up over time because it's going to have to catch up in price, because in every other way it's equal. In fact, Class A is even better than Class C because it has the voting rights. But at the same time, just the fact that there is an entity that is buying back a substantial amount of shares and they're purchasing Class C more than Class A is going to create a premium to Class C. And over here in 2021, that difference is so great. We're talking about a 16-time difference between 24 million to 383 million. If we look at 2022, we find a similar discrepancy, but not as great. We're talking about over here 469 million shares bought back on the Class C versus 61 million on Class A. If you do the math, that's about a 7.5 times difference, which means for every Class A share that they bought, they basically bought 7.5 Class C shares. So that's also going to create a difference. I'll share the same exact chart for the coming 2 years here. Here we are. Now we are at 2023 and 2024. And what you could see is the same discrepancy does appear, that when they purchased back their shares, they purchased Class C in greater abundance than they are purchasing Class A. And you see this as well in 2024. So this is 2023 right here, and this is 2024. And you could see they're constantly purchasing back Class C more than Class A. If you want to know the reason why they're purchasing Class C, it's a different video for a different time. Today, I want to just focus on the reason why Class C trades at a premium to Class A. And over here, we see the reason is very clear. Now, in terms of the effect on price, it's important to know what is going on in terms of the actual trades per year, and we could accordingly make a analysis of how much it's affecting. So if we just look at GOOG over here for a second, and we do this on a yearly basis. So we move over 12 months, and you could see GOOG actually only began its trading in 2014, and that's when they started this new class C. So we won't look at 2014. We'll start looking at 2015 and so on. And you could see that GOOG had in 2015 about 10.5 billion trades. 2016 about 9 billion, and so on. If we look at Google for the similar time period, you'll see that 2015 they had 11 billion, 9, almost 10 billion in 2016. So there is some discrepancy between how many trades there is happening on Class A versus Class C. In general, if you look at it carefully, you're going to see that Class A has more trades than Class C. Sometimes it's about 10% more, sometimes 20% more. If you look at 2024, which is very interesting, you're going to see about a 30% discrepancy. So over here we are for the year of 2024. You could see the volume, and I'm hovering over the volume for that year, but it's actually right over here that we should look. So as I hover over it, you could see we have about 7 billion trades that happened in 2024. This is on Google Class A. If we do the same thing for class C, we have only 5 billion trades happened in 2024. This is a difference of about 30%. Now, if you factor that in, that class C is trading less than class A, there's less transactions happening, and there's more buys from the company. The company is buying more of class C than class A, while there is in general less transactions happening. That is going to make a tremendous effect on the price of the stock, and that's why we see a price discrepancy. Now, there's a few other factors here, but let's suffice it. The video is long enough for now. Wish you well. If this makes sense to you, hopefully it does. Let me know if you're interested in more.